Help support the companies that support our community.
All right, here it is. So normally like an unboxing video, you have to put stuff together, but this is so simple. I didn't want to waste time getting it out of the styrofoam. It comes almost completely assembled. All you have to do is put the legs on. I went ahead and put the extension on, but you don't have to. And you hook up these two hoses, that's the air assist, and plug it in, and then put the head on. So this right here, just adjust it like that, screw it on, and you're done. As far as the air assist, it's over here. I'll bring the camera over here in a sec, but it's just that tube that goes to it. So it's super simple to set up, which is super nice because I got a CNC machine years ago and I had to go back to night school and take a structural engineer class just to figure out how to assemble the thing. So it was so nice when I open up the box and there's really nothing. I can screw a couple legs on it and melt the laser. So the cool stuff comes with the software and program, the light burn and what you can do in it with the laser. It's super cool. The thing is super sturdy. It's not flimsy at all. Has some controls here. I'll talk about those here in a little bit. Yeah, it's a sturdy machine, and the assembly is super easy. So thank you for that. I didn't have to spend a couple of days assembling the thing. So let me move the camera up on top so you can see what came with it a little bit more, and then I'll talk about that. All right, so some things that come with it are the glasses, the little step gauge. So when you adjust the laser, you put that underneath of it, and I'll show you that when we do a project here in a second. It comes with a little toolkit, a key for that. So if you have kids or something, you can lock the whole machine out. There's a e-stop on it there. So if something happens, you can stop it. Came with the integrated air assist. So this tube just plugs in right there. I popped off a little cap, put that on, and then that goes in up there. And what that does is keeps the lens clean and debris away from it as it's burning. So it was super easy, and it just plugs in. This plugs right in over the side here. So it also, on this side here, I'll pop up a picture. It has your power, came with the power supply, that plugs into the side over here, and then this plugs in so you can hook it up to your computer with a USB, and it also has an SD slot card in there. So in this little toolkit has an SD card in it right there. You can pop that out, you can put your project on there, put that in, and then use this panel here to start your project. Probably most of the time I'll be using the computer. It's kind of easier to work with, but if you have a specific project, it's super easy to do that, and you can always move it to home or wherever you want. So it came with that, so you can plug this into your computer, put your project on there. And it also has this, it came with this one here. As far as firmware go, if it needs firmware upgrade, there is a little USB right there. You just plug it in with the firmware. So it's super simple to do that. It's everything came adjusted. It's perfect. I've already run a bunch of little test projects with it. Show you those too. It's a super sturdy machine. So the whole reason I'm doing this is because I've been telling people for a long time now to any kind of embellishment or ways to personalize things, your project, if you're selling them or as gifts, it makes all the difference in the world. So I am not a laser expert at all. So I would definitely go check out a bunch of other videos. The Louisiana hobby guy, he is fantastic, wealth of information for as far as light burn goes and lasers in general. He knows what he's talking about. I want to give a huge shout out to Mike Doyle, because we were down at the Woodturning Symposium. He brought us a bunch of stuff for the booth. I'll show a picture here. He 3D printed them and laser engraved some of the stuff too. So I talked to him quite a bit. He helped me walk me through how to get this set up in Lightburn, and started me getting me going with some projects, and just got me the basics. And I don't think I'd be this far without his help. So thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate it. The machine, super solid. This is a 40-watt laser, and the air assist is fantastic. It cleans everything out. I have a honeycomb bed I'll get set up here in a minute, and then I have a hood that goes over the top of it too. But everything works perfectly. Now it's just down to me playing with the software. The 40-watt laser, it's an adjustable light beam on it, so you can adjust that 40 watts down to do super fine stuff or cut. So as far as cutting goes, it'll cut 0.15 stainless steel, it'll cut 0.20 millimeter or 20 millimeter wood, and 30 black acrylic. With the 40-watt laser, it will cut right through that. So it's super powerful laser, and then you can adjust it to do fine detail. I did a couple of those too. As far as the company, they've been making 3D printers for years. They've been making lasers now for quite a while too. When I first was interested in it, the first thing I did is go watch a bunch of reviews and unboxing and videos like that, and to see what everybody else thought about it, because I didn't want to get something that wasn't going to hold up or just do a good job in general. So all the reviews on it, same thing. Everybody was super happy with the fact that it came assembled, and the fact that it is super strong. It is a solid machine. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. The honeycomb bed is really nice, and there's some options you can get with it, like the honeycomb bed or the rotary. And I got the rotary because I do wood turning, and I want to do some stuff on my turning, so I'll show you that in a second too. But yeah, it's as far as I can tell, and like I said, I'm not an expert on lasers or any of this. It's a solid machine, and it does a great job. There's a little knob under here where you unplug it and hook your rotary up to it, and then it just actually reads the rotary, and you can do different things on it. But a lot of that is done in Lightburn, so it's more software stuff than this. So it's super fast too. It's 25,000 or millimeters per minute, so it'll do engraving super fast. It's got a nice big bed on it. So if you're doing batch work, if you're doing like little inlay pieces or keychains or anything like that, it gives you a nice big work area where you can put a piece of wood in there and get a lot cut out all at once, instead of going back and forth. Yeah, it's as far as I can tell so far, I'm super happy with it. And like I said, I know nothing yet. Coming up, I'm going to be doing some project with this, where as far as inlay stuff, I cut a bunch of tests on some plywood, and then I put in a piece of poplar and cut it on that, and it engraved and burned around it perfectly. So you can put maple. I did a little maple handle. It did a great job on that. So I'm super excited about that, being able to just do little inlay pieces or put somebody's name on something. I'm super happy with that. Yeah, as far as this is pretty much it for what comes with it. I guess it's everything you need. Power supply comes with the aluminum plate for the bottom of it, and you can, but like I said, I would probably get the honeycomb bed with it, because that helps extract the air, and it really handy to have. And these are all things that kind of talked to Mike about too, was the honeycomb bed is really, really nice to have. The air assist is, yeah, phenomenal. You just plug it in. It's integrated into the system. So you plug it into the machine, get everything fired up, it automatically kicks on. So these lights right here are for the air assist. The dial on the side of it over here, where you plug the air assist in, there's a little dial on it. So if that light on there turns yellow, you just turn the air assist up. If it's green, then everything's working good. If if you're actually cutting something deeper and it starts to turn yellow or something, you turn the air up on it. So that's totally adjustable. There's a fire indicator, so if a little piece gets caught or something and it starts a fire, that indicator comes on. When we first power it up, these are going to be green, and the air assist will be red because we're not using it yet. And this is the lens. If the lens gets dirty or damaged, that will turn red. As your power light comes on, laser light comes on, it's when it's actually working, firing. So it's a lot of nice features with it. It really is super well built. I can't say enough about that. The fact that it's assembled and it is a solid machine, those are two big pluses right there. All right, yeah, and if something did happen to, or I don't know, a fire, or it went into the wall or something, there's an e-stop on it right there. All right, let me go ahead and put the honeycomb bed in, and I will show you the rotary before I put the cover on it. All right, the honeycomb bed, so under that is another piece of aluminum that came with it, and then that just sets right down onto it. And then so you just take your piece of wood, whatever you're going to work on. Here's the little step gauge, and slide it over. You just loosen up your laser, slide it down. It hits the top one. We're going to engrave, slide it out, and now it's set to the right height. It's that quick and easy. There's one for cutting thickness, and then the top one is for engraving and cutting as well. But then the other ones are for just for cutting. So put a little hole in that and tie it to the laser, I think, so you don't lose it. I talked about Mike Doyle earlier, so there's some of the pins that he did for us for the show. We were giving those away, so super cool. Yeah, it's as far as setting the height, that's just pretty straightforward. So here's like a piece of poplar I did, and I just engraved the wood shop and then cut a circle around it. So denatured alcohol is denatured alcohol will wipe off the debris. I don't have any, so I'll have to get some of that too. And there's another one I did out of thinner plywood, and same thing. I did it out of this piece, so it went ahead and engraved the wood shop, and then went right back around and cut it out. So as far as doing little stuff like this, that's little inlay pieces. I mean, I would use like a maple or something, a nicer wood other than the plywood, but it's super easy to do. The first thing you're supposed to do is run a test. So I ran this test here, and it basically runs through all the power of the laser and the speed. It does all those, so on this thickness of wood, and then it goes ahead and cuts it out. So if the power is at 100% and 620 there, I think, it's going to cut it out. It even cuts it out up until about 10 right there. So it gives you a gauge of what you want. So if you're looking to engrave something, you can look up here and say, it's 18,000 and 30% or 40%. So it'll do that. So it's just do a test, and those tests are all in that program Lightburn. You just click on test, and it knows what you want to do. So it's pretty slick. So here are, I was just messing around. This is a little bit thicker piece of plywood. Went ahead and did the wood shop. It burnt right through it. So I adjusted the power down a little bit, and then I adjusted it down even more. This one was a little bit dark for me, so I adjusted it down. Then I just kind of scaled it down. Went ahead and just got a line drawing and just traced out a little puppy dog there, and it just did it. Super nice job. I just kind of, there's no real difference there. I scaled it down. Light burn is a whole nother thing to learn, but it's actually fairly easy if you have somebody show you the basics. Like I said, there's a ton of videos out there, probably from a lot of other people. If you know of anybody else that does like laser videos, put them in the comments. If anybody's trying to get into this, it will help out a lot. Yeah, I just happened to find that Louisiana hobby guy. All right, so the rotary. So, there's a maple handle I did. So I put the wood shop in it, and just like that. But you could, with the rotary, you can actually come around and engrave around the whole thing, or do an arc or anything you want on it. Here's the rotary. So it's a little chuck. Looks like a little 3-jaw chuck. It plugs in the back of it, and it plugs in right under here. And I will pop up a little picture of, you just unplug that cable right there and plug it into that. And it knows, as soon as you do, it knows that it's working. And then you go over to light burn and figure out your diameter and everything. So for this, it's a handle I turned with the stainless insert in it. So check this out. You just put your Niles mandrel right in there and thread on your opener handle or bottle stopper or whatever you want to do, and then it will actually turn this around. As soon as you fire it up, it does a test. It spins this around, and it's the same thing with this. It is curved a little bit, but it still did a nice job of burning it. It actually looks really even, and even though it's a little thicker here than it is right here. Yeah, you can put mugs, you can do tumblers, anything you want in there. And if you did need, like some support from it, slide that up. If you're doing, a tumbler or something, slide that up and it will spin with it. So super excited about that. You'd be able to, if you wanted to write whatever, your town or state or something on opener handles, and you could just burn it on there and unscrew it like so, and grab the next one, screw it right on. You can do batch work just like that. So that was super handy. And yeah, I was talking to Mike. He goes, "You think one of your mandrels would fit in there?" And I said, "Well, we're gonna try." So I stuck it in there and it worked perfectly. Yeah, these are a little bit soft. They're not like a steel chuck, so it actually just grips around it, and it's for not damaging like tumblers or things like that when it grabs a hold of them. But it holds on to the mandrel perfectly too. So super nice and easy. Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and get the cover. I'll show you. There's not a whole lot to see with that. Just kind of put the bars together and put the cover on it, but it does have a fan on the backside, so the fan has a tube on it, and you can vent that outdoors. So you definitely want to have these things vented because it's cutting the wood. It's just, so there's smoke, and from that you want to get that out of the shop as fast as you can. So a little fan sucks the smoke out and gets it out of your shop. Yeah. It's really, I don't know. I'm super happy with it, and I'm gonna be playing around with it a lot more and doing some different projects with it coming up. it's, as far as like the program too, it's not that hard to learn. It's actually pretty easy to get into it. And as far as the laser goes, you just plug it in and turn it on, and it does what it's supposed to do. All right, so here's the cover. So it just sets right over the top of it. Your cords go right in through those little holes, and look, a little pocket. That's probably where that's supposed to go, and your tools. There we go. And it just comes over and zipped closed. This was the cover for it was the hardest part of the assembly of putting the whole thing together. Was this? It took me longer to put this together than it did to get the laser all set up. Yeah, so once you get your project set up and all ready to go ahead and do your test and do your tool path and everything. Then you just pull this down. The air assist is plugged in over there. I opened up the window a little bit, plugged it right into a surge protector. It's a USB, so as soon as I turn the surge protector on, the air assist comes on and powers up. And this thing just comes right over here, just zip it down like so, and you can watch your project, make sure everything's going good. It's pretty straightforward, simple. And I think maybe in the future, depending on how much you get into it, you probably want to do maybe a hard case, and just I guess to save time. This one works really well, but I think something where you could just grab it and lift it up and lift the lid up instead of having to unzip it every time would probably be really nice. But it's going to work for exactly what I'm doing probably for quite a while. But it's yeah, and then you got plenty of room to get in here. You can do your adjustments. You can see in the front, see on the top, and get everything set up. Let me move the camera over here again. We'll get a piece of wood in there, and I'll show you how to set that up, and we'll fire this thing up. So the plugins, so you have your power and your computer, USB right there. Then on the other side is the air assist. So those two, power and the computer, go in there. Air assist goes in there. So that little hole right there, there's another one on the other side, just like it, identical for those 2 wires or 3 wires. All right, there we go. So it came with 3 of these little test pieces. So you just slide those in there like so, wherever you're gonna do your project. And this is kind of the area where I've been working so far. Loosen those up, move it over, set it down, just like that. Tighten it up, slide that out of the way. So I'm gonna go over and fire everything up, get it all going. You'll see it come back to home, and then we'll go ahead and do a tool path. So it'll come out here. It'll actually kind of trace around where you're going to work, and then that way you can kind of see if you need to move your workpiece or something. So as far as the software, there's a million things you can do. So this is just basic setup. It's coming out here. I got the tool path running right there, but you can move that around anywhere you want in the software part of it. All right, get that fired up, and we'll get something engraved and cut. All right, let's go ahead and close it up, and we'll hit start. Hopefully we can still see in there the glare. So it's going to do the engraving first. So another thing about this too is if you're doing like that little disc I did, like that. So you want to do the engraving first and then cut it out. Don't cut it out, because then if it moved or something, it would screw it up. So it's going to do the engraving first, and then when it's done, it will turn around and cut the whole piece out. So it's a little bit bigger than the last one, but that is pretty much it. It's a lot of playing around with the software to create stuff. There's lots of great resources out there as far as the software goes, but as far as the machine goes, it is solid, and it's nice and big too for doing batches of, whether you want to do keychains or like little medallions to inlay in your pieces, and the designs are pretty much endless on this. So when it's all done too, we're going to look at it, and it's going to move out of the way a little bit. We're going to go ahead and open it up, and it doesn't look like the engraving took very well. So I need to bump it up. It just barely engraved on there. So I'm going to go and bump the pressure up on it, or the power up on that. So that's a nice thing too. Just leave everything right where it's at, and don't touch it. And then we'll go ahead and hit start again. We'll leave it right there, and we'll do it again. So what I'm doing when I run over to the computer is I'm bumping up the power a little bit and lowering the speed a little bit to get it to engrave more. And so just by adjusting those settings, you'll get a better job. So like I said, if you knew exactly what kind of wood this was and what speed and everything, you could do it just the first time. In fact, I don't know, I got lucky with like that one. That's just the first time I tried it. So just kind of play around with it and get it dialed in, and then they can be, they're like presets in there, and you can just go to your program. There's a lot of nice downloads and things too, where it sets it up for you. So like if you're doing maple or walnut or basswood or something like that, it already has it in there for you. But there we go. And it's a little bit light. It probably should have ran through one more time, but it's nice detail in it. It really did a nice job. I probably would have gone a little bit deeper on it. So, and that noise right there is the air assist shutting off. Once it comes back to home, it runs for just a second. I think to kind of clean everything out. You can see there was no smoke when I lifted up. The little fan is doing a nice job getting it out there. And same thing with this. Same thing with the cutout. It's just use your little test piece so you know exactly what the settings are for this. As far as cutting it out, I should have went to like 600. See, but this piece is a little bit thicker, so that's what I mean when you're playing around with it. It'll cut through this a lot faster than it will cut through that. So I had it on 20, but I was running it a little bit fast, so that's why it didn't cut through that. So, but just pretty. Oh, and I had all this out of the way, so there it is. Yeah, it's a little bit thinner than this, so you got to kind of adjust for that too. And as far as these go, I'd probably do several of these in different kinds of wood as well. I'm probably going to be doing a lot on maple for inlay pieces, so I will do one of these on maple, and so that way I know what it's going to cut that piece of maple out for my little disc. And then what is a good engraving point on here. So it's this one here where I ran a bunch of tests, and it engraved perfectly. You know, I really like the way that came out, but this is just another piece of plywood. So I'm not gonna probably put plywood in there. Although they might look really nice too. As far as this is birch, I believe it's birch plywood, but they might look good too, and they're going to inlay it in it, so you're really not going to even know it's plywood. So maybe that's the cheapest way to go, and it'll still look really nice. Yeah, and you just kind of play around with it. Like I said, I was way too hot on that one, and then I slowly started bringing it down, and you can see. But you can bring in pictures. It will do pictures. It will do on stainless steel. It will actually do colors. You need to play around with it a little bit, but it gives you an array of colors that it will burn on stainless steel. So, which is super cool. Yeah, as far as different materials, things like that. Shut it off there real quick. Yeah, it's as far as the safety stuff goes, it has the lights up here to tell you whether your laser's okay, fire, the air assist is running good, it has your key shut off, your emergency stop, things like that. And it's really nice too, you know, where if you want to use the SD card, you can just come over here and pop it in if it's something you're running the same job all the time. But I think that is about it for it. Like I said, you're probably going to see me making a bunch more stuff in some videos to come, because I want to do some inlay pieces, and I keep telling everybody to do embellishments and personalized stuff as far as trying, selling things, and so I wanted to jump in and just get some ideas for different things, come up with ideas for stuff. And as far as the machine goes, it is, like I said, it is solid. Everything works perfectly on it. Now it is just down to me dialing it in and learning the software with it, because there is a ton of things you can do with it. I've been watching laser videos for the last week, and there's some really neat stuff people are doing, and I have a lot of friends. Jen, she does a ton of stuff. Joey, and like I said, Mike Doyle. Every time I see pictures of just cool stuff. Joey Steelblade, he did all of our displays for the Niles booth, and he did it all out of plywood, just like this. And so they're engraved on it, and then they're all cut out in these pieces. So it is just super cool to be able to, make stuff like that, or just simple little, if you were doing something like an urn, a little inlay piece with the name and dates on it, and you write whatever you want on it. As far as the software, there's nothing you can't do on it. It is literally, it took me 2 seconds to write that and bend it. There's so many options and settings in there that you can play around with. So if you were thinking about getting a laser or something, I would definitely recommend this one as far as being solid and a good machine. Well, that's it as far as what I know about lasers, which isn't much. As far as the machine goes, I can't say enough. It's super well built, super sturdy. It is a well built machine, and the fact that it is 99% assembled when you get it, just put on the feet and plug in a couple of just power to it, and the air assist is just phenomenal. It's literally less than 10 minutes to get it set up, plug it in, and then hook it up to Lightburn and start playing. So Lightburn is a separate program that pretty much everybody uses for if they're doing laser stuff, they use it like a Lightburn program. And it's a phenomenal program, but it works with any laser, so you just kind of learn it like Photoshop or anything else. As far as the laser goes, it's 40 watt. It's adjustable beam, so you can do super fine detail and then cut
through really some thick piece of wood too. So it's really nice. The integrated air assist is fantastic on it. I don't, as far as, I'm not a laser guy yet. I'm working on it though. If anybody out there knows anybody else is doing sharing and helping people out with lasers, please leave their channel comment below or their channel in the comments below. I will go ahead and approve them. Yeah, it's super fun. I've been talking to people and customers about personalizing their turnings, or as far as selling them, or just kind of, you know, any kind of embellishment. It adds value, and this is a great way to do it. You can do, if you have a pattern you really like, you can literally engrave laser, you know, like 20 of them at a time. So the bed on that thing is like 400 millimeters by 415 millimeters. You can batch out just a bunch of them and then inlay that into lidded boxes or urns or whatever you want. But it's as far as the machine goes, super solid, super happy with it. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Everybody take care, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time.